And Rick, your destination there is the handrail 3246, which is just nadir of the Cedar car.
I think I see it.
So we're continuing to watch Mike Hopkins basically hanging out there near the airlock. Rick Mastracchio is actually moving out toward the station. Tracy, talk about what they're doing. They're basically tethering themselves to each other sort of to make it a little bit easier to move around, right?
Yeah, so right now, Rick is moving out to the S1 truss, and he's going to drop the anchor of both his safety tether and Mike Hopkins. And he is right now tethered to Mike, who's tethered to the airlock, and this is just a safety protocol to keep everyone connected to the station. But this method, which we call slingshot, allows us to get extra length from our tethers without having to take an extra one out with us.
Closed and locked on 32.6 with my safety tether. Back on black, the other is my safety tether, goes back on black. So I am secure at this point.
Okay, that sounds great. And Mike's handrail is 3247. Should be just zenith and a little bit starboard from where you are.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see it. Thank you.
And once Mike Hopkins hears the go from Rick, he'll then disconnect from the airlock and then begin his task.
Play along here. What have you? Yeah, what's that first step?
And we're getting our first views from the helmet cams of the astronauts. That is Rick Mastracchio. As you see the 20 at the lower right-hand side, it's his camera. Where you see the 18, that'll be Mike Hopkins.
Hey, Mike, you're closed and locked, black on black. We still don't check here. Double check it here. I don't want to lose anything. You're closed and locked, black on black at 3247. Copy. And I got a unlocked reel. Okay. Yep, Mike, it's disconnect from Deel exhibit.
Okay, and Rick confirmed that waist tether is removed from Mike Hopper's safety tether.
Oh yeah, but get big tethers on my mini workstation.
Okay, and it sounds like Mike here, Rick.
Just wanted to note, Mike, those safety tethers did go around the line of the log there. We'll see how that works itself out. I think it'll be okay once you get up there. That's what I'm thinking too. Okay. It'll be okay once you get up there. That's what I'm thinking too. Okay. Alright. I'm sorry, Dad, go ahead.
Okay, Rick. Problem, and understand that your waist tether is released from Hopper's safety tether, and Hopper, you have a go to release your waist tether from the airlock D-ring extender.
Okay, Lord. It's released and the thermal cover is closed.
Okay, beautiful. Thanks, Hopper. And Rick, you're next going to the Cedar card and stowing that large ORU bag. And as you stow it, just kind of beware how you hinge it, so you can open it up and get to it.
Exactly. I gotta think that through.
And Hopper, perform any translation adaptation. You need or as required, and then you have to go to translate up to the crew lock zenith.
And copy that, I'm on my way.
And you need or as required, and then you have to go to translate up to the crew lock zenith.
And copy that, I'm on my way.
route, and you're going to be retrieving the pump module jumper.
Copy.
So Strachio and Hopkins working on two different things right now. The main thing for Rick is to go over and get a foot restraint that he's going to be using later on during today's spacewalk, and
Okay, great.
Hopkins is going to be going to get this jumper that you'll hear us talk about throughout the morning.
And stow it on your BRT.
So Tracy, as we watch this, does any of this look familiar to you?
Oh, most definitely. Especially what.
Does it look familiar to you?
Oh, most definitely. Especially what Mike Hopkins is doing right now up on that crew lock. That was my first step as well. And being on that small surface, you can see in the distance the earth below. It's again somewhat distracting.
See the car grid and sit back to itself.
Okay, we copy that, Rick. We can see that. That looks good. And the hinge facing outboard maybe work the best for you. Whatever you can see on the work site there, just so you can get in and out of that bag.
Yeah, I'm thinking something like that here. Go up here and work a little more.
And Hopper, how are you doing there? Okay, great. Once you have the pump module jumper attached to your BRT, you have to go to translate to the inboard seated card as well.
Okay, I have my BRT rest on the pump module jumper. Going on my BRT. Long force.
And there's the look at the jumper that you'll hear us talk about. And what this does is sort of complete the ammonia loop. They will need this once they disconnect everything, but the electrical and the fluid lines themselves that carry ammonia in them. But it just closes the loop, and it also allows the ammonia to expand and contract, which it typically does. And Tracy, you guys had to go through similar steps where you replace this ammonia pump with Deel lock, and there's special precaution we have to take with ammonia itself because it's kind of nasty.
Yes. Yeah. Of course, the first step is to avoid it.
Okay, great, Hopper. And before you depart there, Hopper, go ahead.
But if we get any on us, then it's a matter of
Close that bag before you take off there, Hopper. Before you take off there, Hopper.
baking out, as we say.
Just let it bake.
I was thinking, Michael finished configuring the badge. You gotta get in. I wasn't set up for that one. I was gonna head down to ESP2 and get that APFR.
Okay, copy that, Rick, and you have a go to do that. And just as a reminder as you come.
Actually, Micah, go ahead, Doug.
So as a reminder of that sharp edge down on the handrail, just zenith of the FHRC when you get down on ESP2.
Zenith of the FHRC, okay. Right where I'm going, pretty much, huh?
It's going to be right adjacent to the APFR, just be cognizant. But it's actually, I think they said this impact is on the, actually on the label, so.
Okay, Mike, I'm going to go down the truck, so you're clear to come up to feet of car whenever you get a hand around, whatever you want. I am on my way.
Again, this is Mike Hopkins' camera view as we're watching him move along part of the station's structure. He's heading up to what we call a CETA cart. This is basically just a crew and equipment cart where a lot of supplies and different pieces of the station are located. Coming up here soon, he's going to be doing a glove inspection, which is typical. And this will be the first chance we have to get a report from him on this helmet pad that both he and Rick Mastracchio are wearing. So we'll see if there's any report of water coming up here momentarily. So we'll see if there's any report of water coming up here momentarily.
Okay. Yeah, copy that, Hopper, and just avoid contact with that touch reel cable, and make your way to the seat car.
And there's my safety coverage clear of the light. That's correct. Okay, I'm ready to the APFR.
Okay, Rick, we see in position there. You have to go to retrieve that APFR with the ingress aid and put it on your BRT.
Yeah, work. And Will, just a quick question. Could I go ahead and fix this up jumper at 6570 mile marker? And I'll have it in place to be able to put on the fifth stringer when I get it out?
We're checking, Hopper.
Thanks.
And Hopper, we're good with your plan as long as you feel like that'll stay out of the way of your translation and work in that area.
I think it'll be a good start.
Okay, sounds like a perfect plan.
Okay, hey Doug, remind me how to remove these APFRs. Squeeze and turn, right? Squeeze and travel and rotate it.
Should be a locking collar there, and then squeeze the paddles.
Right. Yeah. Stay here.
Okay, Rick, you should rotate the collar so it is not black on black. That should unlock it and then push the paddles.
Yeah, that's right. Stand by.
They are sticky and temperamental sometimes.
That's Rick Mastracchio's camera there, as he is, you'll hear it called an APFR. This is a portable foot restraint. And Tracy, sometimes these things get a little bit stuck, sometimes pulling them out, just because it's, it's metal, and it's been out in space, and it's been both hot and cold. I mean, it's just typical, right?
It is very typical, especially there on that location on ESP2 being right out in front. It's not shaded by much.
Yeah.
Staying in the unlock position.
Locking collar goes to the unlocked position. So that the black on black is not no longer black on black, but the paddles just will not squeeze.
Okay, copy that, Rick. Stand by. And Rick, try any two paddles. Any two paddles will work.
I tried several, so we try some, we continue trying not to work up work too much. Continue. Okay, well, the hot jumper is headed with an adjustable rest, adjustable equipment tether off of my PPP, and it is still your mile marker 6570 on the heated car handrail.
Okay, copy 6570, copy that, Hopper. And Rick, can you verify that you can turn the locking collar, but when you do, it does not stay in the unlocked position? Is that correct?
You can turn the locking collar so that the black on black is no longer lined up. And it kind of stays there, but not completely. So while I'm holding it out of defense, I am trying to squeeze the paddle. You just don't want to do it.
Okay, so Rick Mastracchio is trying to get this portable foot restraint unstuck from the outside of the station. Now, the good news is there's others out there that they can go get, so they'll monitor this, and they may just tell him to move over and pick up another one. So Tracy, while we have a second, talk about, these space belts are, these space belts are always, there's always challenges that happen in the middle of them. I mean,
Yeah. You never expect the APSR to be the real challenge, getting it out of the width or the socket that it's stowed in. But this one in particular, because of its location out front, it sees a lot of sunlight cycles and darkness cycles. So. But he got it.
He got it, all right.
The locking collar wasn't turning as much as it needed to. Finally, I got it unstuck.
Great job, Rick. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. All right, head back.
And Rick, before you head back, we'd like to take a look at your gloves there as well.
Stand back to get a local back on here.
Yeah, I'll take a actually glove inspection and a half check for both of you.
Okay, work. Do you want no change on that one?
Great news, Rick.
No change.
Okay, great. Thanks. Rick, you have to go then to go ahead and translate up to the work site.
So the good news, a little more than 31 minutes into today's spacewalk, is that both crew members report dry conditions. They have checked the pads in the back of their helmets, no change, and their gloves are also doing fine. So we're moving along.
Yeah, something good. So open the area dog and stop keeping there.
Checking. Okay, yeah, Hopper, you have to go to open the lid of the large ROU bag, and then if it needs to be restrained any more, go ahead and do that. And also just make sure it's hinging so you can get in and out of it as needed.
Okay, cool.
And we're thinking you might need to cinch it down just a little bit, Hopper.
Okay.
And once you get it cinched down, Hopper, you're going to be retrieving your Kulak bag 1 from the large ROU bag.
Happy.
Now the crew is currently running about 15 minutes ahead of the timeline, which of course is good news, but we will continue to monitor it. You're currently 260 miles above Kazakhstan, an area pretty much everybody around here is familiar with, including Tracy. You've been there a few times to Kazakhstan.
Yes, I have.
Lost in
Very memorable place.
So there, the left-hand side of the screen, you can see Aki Hoshte sitting in the capcom seat beside him, Dina Kutela back in the back.
Kind of.
Allison Bollinger, today's lead spacewalk officer, she and her team are there monitoring, and also there on console are the flight doctors. And everybody following along, monitoring the cruise timeline, which, as we mentioned, is about 15 minutes ahead.
And then we're coming into a quick handover again.
So Tracy, let's talk about what they're doing. They basically just told the crew to sort of relax for just a couple minutes. I mean, they want to running ahead of the timeline is good, but you don't want to burn up, you don't want to overexert yourself, because obviously it's scrubbing carbon dioxide in the suit, and they do kind of watch that a little bit, don't they?
They do, and these guys are real efficient outside, so there's no reason we couldn't just slow them down a little bit here since they're ahead.
Handover.
So 35 minutes into today's spacewalk, things going pretty much according to plan so far. As we reported just a few minutes ago, they did do their first check of the pad that's in the back of the helmet, and they reported both dry conditions, which of course is good news.
Stage one here on the feet of handrail for a few minutes.
Okay, we're good with that, Rick.
We're in about 30 minutes around. There's stuff fit on there, isn't there? Now, that's how I might ask you. Okay, so just to give you a status on the large OU bag. Both adjustable tethers are wrapped around one of the their handrails. The long duration tie down is also wrapped around and attached, and will be adjustable as they're sent down.
Okay, we copy a good config on the large ORU. Hopper, nice job. And go ahead and when you're able to retrieve that crew lock bag one.
Okay, again, look.
And Rick, as you're getting set up there, Gucci is ready for you whenever you're ready for the GCA.
Happy thanks. You're also loud. So let me just get Dolly down the, let me just get Dolly down the, okay, there it is. Let me approach it from the other side, outboard. You're clear to move station F.
Okay, Rick, for this AC part, I was going to be station F, and I was going to be station F, and also station port. And when I get to the public position, I will ask you for ETA.
Okay, sounds good, thank you.
And Rick, here comes the out of motion.
Copy. I see it moving, it's like good motion.
Okay, good motion.
Watch very closely, you can see Kaguchi Wakata there moving the station's 58-foot-long robotic arm. Rick Distractio there on the far right-hand side. You can see the red stripe on his leg there. That is his suit. And then upside down is Mike Hopkins.
Okay, Rick, armed at the public position and ready for GPA.
Okay, stand by. Let me go check it out. See what I can do.
As the camera pans around, you can see the end of the station's robotic arm. There on the bottom right-hand side, this sort of white bar that you see, that is actually the orbital boom sensor system. This was left behind by the space shuttle. It used to be used to perform the inspection of the shuttle's heat shield.
That's a good position for right now. Let me install the adapter.
Okay, then I'm going to put the brakes on. Rick. Okay, Rick, 8-second brake is on, and you have a go for AC5 installed.
Copy and work. Start the adapter. Well, Doug, talk to me about the adapter.
Okay, I was hoping you weren't going to ask me, Rick. No, okay, so the whip adapter is going to go in the, and you're going to install the pit pin, do a pull test on the pit pin, and then install the hitch pin through the pit pin. As you install the adapter, the tether point should be pointing toward the lee. Toward the lee.
Pointing forward on the lee, if you will. Okay?
Pointing forward out of, yes, coming out of the lee.
Okay, copy.
What's happening right now is
What are you doing on your stowage of the crew lock bag?
Rick Distractio is actually just installing the foot restraint that he's going to need to basically stand on the end of the station's robotic arm. That was a step-by-step process for him to do that, to actually get that adapter plugged into the end of the robot arm itself.
Attach it to the seat of handrail there, or whatever's closest to your worksite.
And Greg, I don't know if you guys believe in miracles, but I got the hitch pin on the first
for just a few minutes, of course.
Roger that. I'll enjoy the view.
And I don't know if you can see any ground lights, but you're over the far east of Russia. Okay, Rick, nice job on that tip pin. That's you're my hero, man. I wrestled with that thing. So you have a go when you're ready to install the APFR, and clocking at 12, and I'll give you the settings once you get it in there.
Okay. Stand by.
And Hopper, we're going to have you hang out just for a couple more minutes. And Hopper, we're going to have you hang out just for a couple more minutes.
Okay.
And Rick, also as a reminder, as you put the APFR in, once it's completely installed, it does have a little bit of play to it, a little bit of a wobble. And I know you're expecting that.
Yeah. Let's pitch that in, Doug.
Yeah, so we're get the clocking of 12.
Okay.
Yeah, with the clocking of 12, we like the setting of Mike, clock 6. Mike, clock 6.
Okay. Mike is set. I had to move it, but I think it was installed where I had it. So I'm going to install it now.
Hopper. We're waiting for one more data pass on you.
Okay.
And you're looking good, Hopper. So you have to go to continue slowly.
Got it. History. Got it. History is the next step, is that correct?
The team here in Houston giving Mike Hopkins the go-ahead to continue working.
Lockback 1 should be attaching it to see the handrail. It should be 3269 in your workspace there.
All they're doing is really monitoring the lithium hydroxide rate that is inside the suit. What that does is basically just scrub carbon dioxide. As you can imagine, the harder you work, the more carbon dioxide you produce in those suits. They do watch it. You'll hear them actually tell the crew to sort of stop and take it easy for a couple minutes as they watch that rate go down, and then they'll give the crew to go ahead to continue. Again, 18 at the bottom right-hand side of the screen indicates Mike Hopkins' camera. The 20 that you'll see indicates Rick Mastracchio's. Again, the 18 at the bottom right-hand side of the screen indicates Rick Mastracchio's.
ATFR is installed, black on black, good plug test, good whistle test, calendar out.
Okay, we copy that, Rick. A good ATFR. Okay, we copy that, Rick. A good ATFR installed. And now is your safety tether swap to the SSRMS Lee handrail.
Copy. Get out of the mess I got myself into here first.
And Hopper, as you're working with the fish stringer, once you get that filled, your next test will be the MLI shroud over top of the pump module.
Okay, copy that.
Rick Mastracchio there in the center of the screen, working on the end of the station's robotic arm. So he's going to be standing in during part of today's spacewalk. The lower right-hand side, that white bar you see once again is the orbiter boom sensor system that was left behind by back on STS-134. So a little piece of shuttle history there left behind on board the space station. Space shuttle
Give me the,
Endeavour back on STS-134. So a little piece of shuttle history there left behind on board the space station.
Mark 6, we got it.
Okay, copy. We copy good settings there, Rick. Thank you.
Another swap at work. the lee handrail, the forward or aft one.
Checking. Either one of those is acceptable, Rick.
Okay. Okay, the second 85-foot safety tether is closed in line. Black on black on the aft tether point of the lee handrail, and the reel is unlocked.
Okay, we copy a good safety tether config on the arm, Rick. Tether config on the arm, Rick.
Okay, and for dropping off my spare tether, should I just do it on the seat of spur over here, or the handrails over here?
Yeah, a suggested handrail is 3413 if that's nearby, or anywhere there on the seat of handrail. And the seat of handrail is
okay.
The seat of handrail is fine, Rick.
Really? Okay. I'll go there.
It should be on one of the stanchions on the end, if you can.
But, okay, Doug, I'm ready to get the MLI.
Okay, great, Hopper. You're going to go ahead and release the MLI shroud, Velcro, and then fold the MLI back out of the work site and restrain it with a long wire tie. You should see the thread segment that you'll restrain it to.
Okay. Hey, Rick, this is Steve here. Yeah, supposed to be right.
Hopefully there's not too many dents in the M3 QD.
Looks okay.
And Rick, once you have your safety tether stowed on the seat of handrail, you have to go do GCA with Koichi for APFR ingress.
Okay.
And before Rick starts on his GCA, Hopper, once you get the MLI folded back and the long wire tie around it, you're going to release the TA clamps. Release the TA clamps on the three big lines, the M1, 2, and 3. Do not release the TA clamp on the small line, the M4 line.
Okay, the TA clamp already released on those. I don't know if you can see it on my 3GS there.
Okay, we're looking Hopper and stand by.
Okay. Koichi, what do you have to go for the ingress position? Give me a heads up on which direction you're going before you do it.
This is really GCA Rick.
Okay. Well, if everybody's ready, I'll ready to GCA you a little bit. Okay, I'm ready. Okay, is it okay if I GCA Coach?
Yeah, stay by in the GCA just for a second. Hopper, we want to get in the GCA just for a second. Hopper, we want to get clarification on the TA clamps on the large lines.
Okay.
These TA clamps you'll hear talks about are actually tether adapter clamps.
We'd like you to look a little bit further back, closer to you, away from the QDs, and see if you see TA clamps there.
Yeah, I've got visual on TA clamps that are open. Yeah, I agree. I see them also. They look like they're popped open.
Okay, we copy all. And Rick, you have a go for GCA.
Okay. Okay. Coach, station meter, maybe half a meter. Okay, yeah. Coach, station meter. Station meter, maybe half a meter. Okay, yeah. Station meter, half meter. Here comes the motion. Maybe half a meter. Okay, yeah. Maybe half a meter. Okay, yeah. Station meter, half meter. Here comes the motion. Good motion. Copy. Good motion. Continue. Roger, continue.
So Tracy, these TA clamps that they're talking about, what exactly are these?
Well, they're a clamp that restrains the lines. Mainly here, we're talking about the fluid lines. It just holds it up against structure. There's two types. There's a TA clamp, which is a tether adapter, and then a P clamp, which is actually bolted to the station. The TA clamp is manually activated, and you need the drill motor to remove the P clamps.
But the DC complete. If the assignment is break, you have a go for ingress. Copy.
Allison Bollinger, the lead spacewalk officer, reporting to Dina Catella, who's the flight director, that the crew right now is roughly 30 minutes ahead of the timeline, but we will continue to monitor.
Okay, Rick, you have a go to attach your waist tether to the ingress aid tether point. And leave the ingress aid retracted.
Okay. It's retracted and out of my reach, so.
Perfect.
And I have ingress the APFR. Okay.
And Rick, once you've ingressed and you're set and ready to go there, we'll take a glove and have a check from you.
Okay. Hey, Mike, can you see me? I do see you. How's my safety tether look? I don't like the way you want when you got in here, but should be going down my left side to the should be okay. It might be wrapped around something, but I don't have a visual on it yet. Get this out of the thing. Hey, can you use your light gun? Hey, can you use your light gun?
This is Mission Control Houston, now 1 hour and 2 minutes into today's spacewalk. My cockpit's there at the top, Rick Stracchio down there at the bottom, running about a half hour ahead of time.
Okay, thank you.
Things are going extremely well. They continue to do checks of their gloves, which are working just as expected, and they're also doing checks of this pad on the back of the helmet. No sign of water.
Okay, APFR ingress is complete. Houston and Koichi.
Rick Stracchio now on the end of the station's arm. You see it there on the left.
Changing the downloader parameters.
Hopkins is going to be what they call the pre-folder setting. He's going to be moving by himself while Stracchio is on the end of that arm. Koichi Wakata inside the International Space Station, working inside the U.S. Destiny Laboratory. He's going to be flying that arm from a robotic workstation today. Rick Strachio getting one of the more fun parts of spacewalking.
The end wraps around, and then there's the second piece that's over the cable so it goes back into the truss. You want you to access that other piece of MLI as well.
Checking. It looks like you can, okay, Hopper, you don't need to do anything with that second piece of MLI. If it looks like you can pull those lines and help Rick when they're demating, and also that they can be pulled perpendicular without any additional access, you're in a good config.
Great, copy. And Rick, from Koichi, we're still loading the motor parameters, so it'll take a few minutes for the arm to start. No problem. And glove check, tap check is all changed as nominal.
Copy, Rick.
And same for ED2.
Okay, copy that, Hopper. And Hopper, can you take a look at the M4 line and give us a read on that TA clamp on the M4 line? That's the small line.